Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to this new session around the Entrepreneur Unleashed. Today we're going to talk about embracing failure in the entrepreneur journey, the path to success. This is one of the most difficult things that I've seen along this path. I've been an entrepreneur, as many of you know, guys, for now 26 years. And the funny quote unquote thing is that I struggled for 13 years of those 26. Yes, for 13 years, I barely made it. I struggled. I tried one thing, it didn't work. I tried another thing, it didn't work. And I kept on trying over and over again. In 2003, I started another business and it was struggle over struggle. A couple of months later after starting, I received like a lawsuit because supposedly there were some people here in Argentina that were offering a course and they didn't want competition. So they kind of were scaring people off, saying like, oh, you cannot offer this course. And the course had the same name as theirs because it was a course that was offered in the States. And I just copied the course from the States and started offering in Argentina. So these guys didn't want competition. So they started coming at me and, you know, talking to a lot of people, sending emails saying that I was a scammer and a bunch of things. Imagine, guys, I was 24 years old and I was dealing with lawyers and I was dealing with, you know, these people sending emails to different groups on social media and different places, right? Attacking me, saying that I was a scammer and that what I was doing was wrong, that I had taken their own workbook and I was using their workbook for our courses. And it was, yeah, of course. But it helped me stand in a different place as I was going through this. So not be able to make my business work for many years helped me understand how to embrace the failure, how to see the failure as it is and not the failure as most people see as, you know, they start blaming themselves, they start judging their being and not their actions, and now they shut down and not do whatever they need to do for the business. So we're going to talk more a little bit about that, about my experience going through this. So welcome, Suzanne. Welcome, Shan, Romy, Romana, I'm imagining the chair. Johnny, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us on social media. If you're watching live, as Lauren did, hashtag live, guys. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. So thank you for being here. I want to share this because I think that this is one of the biggest things that holds back most entrepreneurs. And adding to this, guys, the problem is that social media is setting the wrong expectations. What does that mean? I know it sounds weird, but a lot of people in social media are telling you how that you can make, you know, in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, you know, five figures, 6 figures, you know, right away as you start working with these people. And you know why? What, guys? It's a bunch of crap because most people out there are not being able to do this. So when we set that expectations and then we fail to hit it and we don't know how to embrace that failure that happened, what happens, guys, is we stop doing what we're doing. And we need to understand that growing a business is not something that happens overnight, guys. I've been doing this for 26 years. And even my business that I struggled for, I started in 2003, guys. One of the businesses started in 2003 that started working, right? That started, you know, having some success, very little with ups and downs. That one started in 2003. It started going well. Seriously, guys, it started going well around 2011. I made some money with it, don't get me wrong, but it was nearly break even, sometimes putting some money out of my pocket, having another 9-to-5 job to cover the expenses from over here, right? But in 2011, it was when seriously that business really skyrocketed. And you know what, guys, if you say, well, tell me what happened? In 2009, I started a path of inner work and I put a lot of energy. And I started doing that path. I started saying, well, this is for me, right? I want to do this. So I started leaving a little bit my business on the side. But then as I started realizing that I needed to practice more of this to be able to start teaching it, you know, and even charge in the future. So, okay, I need to go back to my business, put more energy there. And as I started doing more inner work and everything, I started getting great ideas on how to really scale my business. And now I had more focus, I had more understanding, I had less limiting negative and false beliefs holding me back. And I was able also to start embracing failure, guys. Because if you think right? When we were kids, when we didn't do what we were expected, there were negative consequences. So we start learning that failing takes away love. Look at this, guys. Listen to what I just said. Failing takes away love. And all we need is love, guys. Yes, as the song, all we need is love. Yes, guys. The two biggest behaviors, and let me change the camera so you guys can see me. The two biggest behavior, the two biggest things that drive behaviors, hi guys, is, look at this, the two biggest behaviors, the two biggest things that drive behavior, sorry, here we go again. One, guys, is numbing the pain of the lack of love. One of the biggest drivers of behaviors, one is numbing the pain because of the lack of love. So write down one, numbing. Write it down, guys. One, numbing. The second is the seeking for love. Those two things is what drives most humanity, guys. Those are the things that drive behavior. So look at this, right? Maybe I buy flowers for my wife because I would like her to hug me. Maybe I want some intimacy or whatever, or somebody cooks a good meal because they're expecting the thank you from the other person. I know most people would say, but no, Tommy, I don't do things for others. That is a lie, guys. There are parts of us that still have a hidden agenda, and that doesn't mean that we're bad people at all, guys. It just means that we have unresolved issues that need to be resolved. And the entrepreneur journey is another area that those unresolved issues is going to get in the way of growing our business, guys. This is what I want to share with you, because unfortunately, a lot of people think that the entrepreneur journey is about learning how to sell a product. The entrepreneur journey is just learn how to do coaching and that's it. No, because I can learn really well how to do something, but that doesn't mean that now I can get out there and start selling it correctly. I can really talk to people. I can really share my message. I can really expose myself into social media and whatever I'm doing, whatever in business that I'm moving forward with. Seriously, guys, if I'm not doing lives, if I'm not talking to people, whatever is my business model, right? Some people might need to talk with people. Some people might need to create content. Whatever it is, guys, that you might need for people to get to know you, they need to know you. And you, if you have a negative self-image, as I've spoken before, guys, you're not going to feel comfortable in people getting to know you. And it's not that the mind is going to say, oh, Tommy, I don't want people to get to know me because I don't like myself. No, guys. You know what the mind is going to say? It's so tricky. It's going to say, hey, Tommy, what if instead of doing lives, we find an avatar, we create an avatar where we don't need to really show our faces, we show the avatar face, we create the voice, we do everything, we just write what it needs to say and we put it out there. Or I create a piece of content written, or I do ads to get people to know me, or I hire a VA to do the work that I don't want to do. Some are valid, guys. Of course they're valid. But if you are not willing to put yourself out there, and part of your business model is then talking with people, even if it's one-on-one, it's going to be very hard, guys. This is what most people that are service providers are struggling, because at the end of the day, you got to sell something that you should believe in. But if you believe in the product, but you don't believe in yourself, that is going to impact the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling. So it's a thing that you got to work on yourself. So first thing is you're going to listen to a lot of people telling you how much money you should be making, all these people making money. And you know what, guys? I know a lot of people on the internet that are saying that they're going to teach you how to make 5 figures a month, or even 6 figures in the next 3 months or 6 months. And you know what, guys? I know they're not making that money. They're showing, showcasing supposedly that they're making that money. And I know for sure that they're not making that money. They're lying. Yes, guys, they're lying. So if there's people out there lying, right, about this, you could receive that as a false expectation that is the truth. Oh, I started working with this person and I made 5 figures the first month, or the second month, or the third month. And maybe they're lying because they want to sell you their product. There's a lot of lying on social media. So if they set those wrong expectations, and listen to this, guys, it's associated with what we're talking about. whenever I fail at hitting that expectation and I don't know how to embrace failure and learn from it, and I see it as the worst thing in the world, I'm going to go into shutdown mode. I'm going to stop doing whatever I'm doing, and my business is going to stop making money or even growing. If I'm not making any money, it's about growing. So I need to understand that I need to learn how to embrace failures, because a lot of people, what they're saying out there is wrong. And I cannot talk about every specific thing out there that people are saying. I can only talk about, in general, and then you got to learn how to embrace the failure as, okay, this didn't work. What can I learn from this? Imagine at school, if each time somebody got a bad grade, it was embraced by the teacher and say, hey, it's okay, Tommy, if you got an F. No worries. Let's sit, see where you're missing, the information, the understanding, whatever, right? Let's look at this, let's understand it, and let's change it. But there was no time, there was no personal attention, because remember, guys, when we were kids, we went to schools that there were 30 kids in the school. One teacher, 30 kids. So there was no time to embrace, right, the failures and really understand what was going on. There was no time, right? So the people that failed, they had to go back home and try to figure about themselves what's going on most of the times. So in a way, we started learning that failure was painful, that failure was something bad. And the truth is, imagine this, guys, imagine this. What if you could see failure and really own it? Don't get me wrong, because most people understand it this now, but own it, that failure is the best thing that could happen to you. How would your life look like if you would embrace failure as the best thing that could happen to you? Would your life be worse or would your life be better? Type it in the chat, guys. Worse or better? How would your life be if you could really own that failures are just the best thing that could happen to you, because you can use them to learn, grow, and do something different that might get you closer to achieving what you want to achieve. So type it in the chat, guys, what I said. Great, right? Or worse, your life, how would that be if you could really own that failures are good for you? How would your life look like, guys? So the truth, normally, if we can embrace failures and use it to learn, that would normally, there you go, better, moving ahead, exactly. It would help us trampoline our life to the next level, taking our life to a next level higher. Yes, guys, that's the truth. Why? Because I could grab and look, the worst thing that happened in my life, when I was sued by these people many years ago, it really helped me become stronger, be able to become more resilient around the challenges that I was facing. So it was the best thing that could happen to me. Then the lawsuit that I have with one of my ex-employees that is suing me, it's been now for 4 years here in this country. The legal system is corrupt, really corrupt and broken. I have been going through a lawsuit for the past 4 years, guys. A guy sued me, right? And for 4 years, we're still in court and everything, going through this. This is crazy, but everybody is feeding out of us because there's, fees that has to be paid as this process takes that long. It's not free, of course. That's why it takes that long too. That's why I'm saying it's corrupt and broken. But this has helped me become more resilient and grow. Don't be sorry, Suzanne, because look at this, Suzanne, thank you for sharing this. But what if I tell you it has helped me grow? Would you still be sorry if I tell you that this was the best thing that could have happened to me? Tell me that, Suzanne. If I tell you this was the best thing that could have happened to me, you would congratulate me, right? I was scammed $10,000 4 years ago, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Yes, it was the best thing that happened to me, being scammed $10,000, guys. So would you be sorry for me if I tell you that it was the best thing that could have happened to me? No, you wouldn't be sorry. You would be happy for me. I am happy for myself that I'm going through this, because I'm learning so much. I'm learning how to stretch the love, how to love this person, even if he's acting like a douchebag with this lawsuit. because he's telling me that I owe him 20 times more money than I owe him. Seriously, not even 20. It's much more than that. I'd owed him, supposedly in my money, right, in my currency, $200,000, and he's asking, you are 20, yeah, no, so 10, yeah, let's see, 10. He's asking for $800,000, guys. It's not dollars, don't get me wrong, in my currency, it's 200,000 pesos. He was asking back then 800,000 pesos. So it was 4 times more. My math, sorry. I'm doing some water. I'm doing it wrong, sorry. But he's asking for much more money than what he deserves, right? So that is on him, not on me. Did I do anything wrong? No. I might have done stuff that might have, made him feel uncomfortable or things like that, but we could have dealt with it. We were friends, and now he's suing me. So I'm stretching my love, guys, my heart muscle with this situation. Every situation we're going through helps us stretch our heart muscle, love ourselves more and love others more. So was it bad that I went through that I'm going through this lawsuit, that I went through a lawsuit, many years ago, right? Or that I'm right now, still in this lawsuit, or, whatever we're going through, that I was scammed $10,000. There we go. I was looking for that. Was it bad? Not at all, guys, because I grew so much out of it that I am really grateful that happened to me. This is, and I'm not saying it's easy, guys. This is an important thing to understand. I'm not saying that it's easy to embrace failures, but if we can understand and see, where did we learn that failure is negative? Where did we learn that failure is bad? At school, at our house, when we were kids. Maybe when we were kids, our parents, each time we didn't do what they expected us, they took out love. They treated us in a non-loving way. When somebody treated us as a kid in a non-loving way, that made us feel bad. And that is what we associated with failure. Failure, pain, failure, bad, failure, I stopped being loved. So the idea is to be able to start reprogramming the mind, changing that association, attachment we have done, that failure is bad, failure is pain. Because the truth is, it can hurt because we have limiting negative false beliefs. But as we get rid of that and we start seeing these failures as something that's going to help me grow, help me get closer to achieving the things that I want, things are going to start changing, guys. Seriously. So again, how do I embrace failure? By checking in my subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind made up of your past. How did my mom and dad see failure? Failure is, try to connect yourself with that little kid at home when you were a kid, right? That little kid at home, right? When you were 5, when you were 8, when you were 10. How did mom and dad react with failure? How did they treat me around failure? How did they treat maybe a sibling of mine with failure? Like, I was working with a woman many years ago, guys, that she was in a very, very dark place, very dark place. When we once started going to her past, she had, I think, 5 or 6, yes, I think she was the 6th. Well, she had 4 or 5 sisters and brothers, okay? And 1 or 2 of brothers were very rebellious, right? They would rebel against mom and dad all the time. So mom and dad would be very strict with them. She saw that situation and she learned for herself, right, that she needed to be perfect. Listen to this, guys. She had learned by herself that she needed to be perfect to receive mom's and dad's love. So she went through entire life trying to achieve perfectionism because she wanted to feel loved. And that made her feel so freaking frustrated, so bad, because each time she wasn't able to achieve what she wanted, she would beat herself up really bad and not feel good about herself. So each time she had a failure, instead of seeing it as, okay, how can I grow? What can I learn from this? And use this as a stepping stone to grow, she used the stone to beat herself up. People grab the stones and, there's a picture I used in the past that they put in their backpack. Yes, but most grab that stone and slam it in their face. And they start slamming that stone in their face, beating themselves up because things are not going well. And we worked for several months, guys. And then after some time, she went her own way, but we kept in contact. She kept on doing the work. And some years ago, I don't know, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, she wrote to me to tell me that she had started her own business that was doing really good, not like making tons of money, no, but it was really doing really good, growing, right? And she couldn't believe how much she had changed, right? So the truth is, we got to understand what are the associations, what are the attachments our mind has done. So it's not how we think today, guys. This is one of the most important things. Most people try to find what is a relationship with failure according to what they think today. And you need to understand that there's a layer that you have put on top of what you really think, consciously try to cover up the subconscious mind. This is what most people do with personal development. What they do is they cover, right, the subconscious beliefs with what they think should be the right thing to think. So they try to convince themselves to think that failures are good. But when they go through failure, they're still stuck. They use it in a bad way. So is it working that they're trying to convince themselves? No. What you need to really do, guys, is understand what association you have made around failure. What do you think around failure? Because if you don't really deal with that, you're not going to be able to change it as a subconscious level. And each time you're going to be scared of failing, or you're failing, you're going to go into shutdown mode. And you're going to go into procrastination. You go into overwhelm, anxiety, stress, you name it, guys. So who hasn't gone through this, guys? Type a 1 in the chat if you've gone through stress, maybe through overwhelm, maybe through, loss of focus, loss of clarity, procrastination. It happens to everyone, guys. So it is to understand that I need to change, reprogram the association I have made with failure. So go back to school in your mind, go back to your home as a kid and see how failure was handled by mom and dad. See how failure was handled by your mom and dad when you did something they didn't expect, when you did something that they didn't like. How did they handle that? If there was a loss of love, if there was rejection, if there was judgment, if there was criticism, and there was no love at that moment, that could have created an association that failure is bad, that failure is painful. So I don't want to fail. So some people are going to try to fall into perfectionism, and a lot are going to fall into some type of procrastination, overwhelm, stress, anxiety, and they're not going to do what they need to do. So we need to go back to our past memories, our subconscious mind, identify what's going on. Yes, judgment, shame, inability to move forward. Thank you, Susanna. Of course, exactly. So I need to change the way I interpret what failure is, and not because what Tommy said, what any other person out there, even in personal development, said, not what I should think. No. First, find what do you really think around failure? What is failure for that little part of you, little kid, at home, at school? What was failure? What associations did you do? Why did you associate those things? Where does it come from? Why? Seriously, guys, we need to understand why we associated that. I associated as a kid because when I didn't behave correctly, my parents put me under a cold shower. They made me eat soap. Okay, there you go. So is that right? Now I think as an adult connected with that part of me. Is that right? That I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. I'm blah, whatever, because they're doing this. No, they have a problem that they're not being able to manage their own emotions, and they cannot manage my emotions. Look what I just did, guys. I reframed the way that part of me was seeing that situation. Oh, mom and dad didn't like me. Mom and dad, rejected me because, I did something wrong. Like I'm the failure. Hey, they don't know how to deal with their emotions. They didn't know how to deal with your emotions. That's why they treated you like that. They didn't know another way. It had nothing to do with you. It had to do with them. As I start changing that story, guys, that part of me might open up, or might need to do this several times, might start opening up to listen to the higher truth, to the ultimate truth. That the truth is my parents had issues. And as they didn't know how to handle their emotions, they didn't know how to handle my misbehaviors, me being a rebel, whatever, right? And that's why they treated me like that. So now I can start changing that. Oh, it wasn't a failure. It was just my parents not knowing how to handle me. Oh, so there's nothing wrong with me. No, some people associate that failure, they're not good enough. Failure, I'm not good enough. Failure, I'm a failure. Failure, I'm not worthy. I'm not acceptable. I'm not valuable. I'm not lovable. Those are the associations we need to start working on, guys, to be able to, in any aspect, because look, guys, I just talked about this in the entrepreneur journey. Let's take this to your 9-to-5 job, where you're not able to stand up to your coworkers, where you're not able to stand up to your boss, where you're not able to ask for a raise. Let's go this to a relationship, where you're not able to speak up in a relationship, where you're not able to ask what you want, whenever you were left by your partner and you feel like a failure. You can take this to every area of your life, guys. Friendships. A friend of yours walked away on you. Oh, I'm a failure. What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? I'm not worthy. I'm going to use that meaning that I attach as a kid, that failure is bad, that, when things don't go as I expect, that's a failure as something bad. And I'm going to use to see the world like that, guys. This is what most people do. And then they have relationship problems. They have, partner problems. They have friendship problems. They have problems with their kids because they're not being, the other day I was working with a guy and he had messed up. He did something that was not good, right? And kind of his daughter paid the price, nothing really bad, but kind of had to do something that he didn't want her to do, right? Let's not go into details, but nothing bad, but it was, yeah, we can go a little bit deeper, but it's not that bad. So there were some people coming to his house to install some stuff. And his daughter has 17 years. So she's a minor. In our country, she's a minor. And she was not supposedly allowed to be in this house with these two men that came to do the service in the house, right? So he asked her to lie about it because he tried everything not to leave her alone with these two guys at home. Don't get me wrong. He tried everything, guys, but he couldn't fix it. So because he didn't feel good about asking his boss to leave work, to go home, to be there while these guys were there, he said to his daughter, whenever these guys leave, I want you to call me. For him, it was a big deal because he wanted to be sure that his little girl was okay. She never called. She went to take a nap. And when we got on the call, she had left the house. He was pissed with her. He had never talked with her, when this is, because they kind of crossed and they didn't see each other after the incident. I got to see him before, and he was pissed. And he then did the work to understand that he was pissed at himself. It had nothing to do with his daughter, but he was about to bring a storm onto his daughter, bring a lot of shit to her because she never called. So I told him, don't you realize that you're angry at yourself because you put her there? It wasn't straight like that, guys. We did some, question and things like that. But at the end of the day is what she was there in this situation because he put her there. It was his fault, but he was angry at himself, not at her. But he was about to bring that anger at her. So it was going to screw the relationship with her a little bit more, right? Because he was not going to be loving to her because of him. So he failed and not being able to arrange a good situation for his daughter. It was him. Is he a failure? No. Is he a bad dad? No, of course not. He's a really good person, but he wasn't able to make things work. So he felt like crap about himself. So, okay, what can we learn for next time? We got to work on speaking up, on telling my boss, hey, I have nobody to take care of my daughter. I need to go home because there's two people that I don't know that are going to go install something and my daughter is alone. I need to be there. Speaking up, right? Asking for favors. He needed to work more on that, and then dealing with his emotions. You see, so a diff situation that seemed a failure, guys, something that wasn't good, we can learn a lot from it. He wasn't able to ask for what he needed. He should have gone to his boss and say, hey, I need to leave work early. But he felt bad about doing that. But feeling bad about that was worth putting his daughter at risk? No, it wasn't. For most people, it wouldn't. But he needed to work on this, guys. I shared in my Toastmaster meeting this morning that at 16-year-old, I failed my driver's portion of the exam. I was so humiliated, but I got over it. My father encouraged me to quit strongly to keep practicing. There you go. Yes, there you go. But the idea is to add to this, Susan, is to say, okay, why did you feel humiliated? Maybe you had the wrong expectations. Your friends were passing the exam and you should have passed the exam. Wait, why? Maybe you needed a bit more time to process. You needed more time to practice, whatever, you see? But these are the things that happens, guys. We feel humiliated. We feel like crap because we failed at something bad. But the idea is to embrace, okay, what can I learn from this? So this is what I do with my kids. One of my kids, guys, since we came back from our trip from Disney, and my wife is not here, he's been losing stuff. My wife bought him a pair of gloves and he lost them. Then he lost his mug. Then he lost his neck gaiter. The mug was found, the neck gaiter and the gloves are not found yet, right? So I spoke with him and said, hey, and because he said, oh, I'm having so much bad luck. I told him, hey, it's not bad luck. You are very, you're very aware of your stuff. You haven't been losing anything for so many years because he's not clumsy in losing stuff, guys. He's not one of those kids that just loses everything. Not at all. It's the first time in years that he lost, things like this. Seriously. So it's like, hey, after the trip from Disney, it's like he might be still, blown away because of, I don't know what's going on in his mind. And on the other hand, his mother is not here. So he might be missing her, right? Although we're talking with her, I'm there with them and everything. He might be missing mom. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that might make him be spaced out. So instead of beating him up, I said, hey, what can we learn from this? I told him, hey, you take care of your stuff. I know you're not losing stuff all the time. So there's something going on that you're not paying attention. So what can we learn from this? I ask him, right? So the conclusion we arrived to is like, hey, let's put stuff in your backpack. Whenever you take your neck gaiter off, put it in the backpack. Whenever you take your gloves off, put it in the backpack. Because you're not going to lose them like that. And if somebody, if you put it somewhere else, somebody might find it and take it with them. They might not be bad kids, but they say, oh, what a nice neck gaiter. I'm going to keep it. Instead of saying, oh, this is from somebody. Let's try to find who it is from. No, they just kept it. We saw a kid at school with his gloves. Unfortunately, I didn't realize because my kid has very small hands. As those gloves fit my kid, I never thought it would fit this big guy. But then I realized that these type of gloves are the ones that stretch a lot. So I was like, oh, it was a kid had gotten his gloves and took them with him. Was he a bad kid? No. So instead of making him feel like a failure, feel it like crap, because he lost stuff, I tried to be as loving as I could, telling him, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let's try to find a way to reduce this from happening again. So I'm trying to help him deal with his emotions and with the actions that he's doing. And that's the idea for us too, guys, to be more loving to ourselves, to try to learn from failure, understand the association we've made, and then use it as, hey, what can I learn from this? When we got to Disney, guys, and my kid got sick the first day, I felt like crap. My world collapsed. I said, this is going to happen again. Another vacation with the kids, sick at home. Darn. And I felt like crap. And I started exploring. I started understanding what was going on. So first I expressed the anger, the frustration by myself. Nobody else found out. They might have seen me that I was upset, but I didn't get, back at my kids because they were sick. No, it had nothing to do with them. So I embraced myself, I loved myself, and then I started telling myself, I released the anger, released the frustration, right? Accepted it, let it go through. And then, hey, what do I need to learn from this, right? And I started using that as a stepping stone to grow. And the trip started changing as I started doing that work. Was it automatically? Was it overnight? No, it was a thing that I had to carry on through those 5 days that the kids were sick. The first kid, my eldest, got sick the first day, and my youngest got sick the second day. And then my oldest got better after 4 days, my youngest after 4 days also. So it was a little bit of overlap there. But was it frustrating? Of course it was. Did it feel like a failure? Yes, I thought that this trip was going to be a failure. So I embraced it. I loved it. I understood it. I released it. And we were able to have a great trip, guys. So this is so important to understand, guys, that failure is just a word, and we can put the meaning to it that we want, but not convincing ourselves. First, we need to understand what we have attached to it and then change that story. But forcing ourselves to change a story that we don't even understand is not going to work, because your subconscious mind is going to override any story you try to shove in there. I shove in there that, oh, failure is good. Tony said that, any other people out there said this, boom, shove it in there, push it in. The subconscious mind is going to go, and it's going to push it out. The subconscious mind is much more powerful than the conscious mind. So trying to convince myself to think about something doesn't really make the difference. Seriously, guys, I have been studying the mind for 14 years. I was working with a woman that she had convinced herself that she should love herself, so she was incapable of seeing where she was not loving herself. How much stronger? According to books, Romana, it's not something I can really confirm scientifically, but what most people say, the subconscious mind is between 90 to 95% and running the mind, and 5% to 10% the conscious mind. Can I confirm that scientifically? Not at all. But I can say that it is very strong. It is much stronger than the conscious mind. Some people say it's even a million times. There you go. Exactly. It could be. It doesn't matter exactly, Romana. The most important thing is to understand that the subconscious mind is much more powerful than the conscious mind. So if you try to convince yourself to think something different, convincing doesn't work. If I want to convince you guys that the earth is flat, you might not change your mind, because you have seen pictures, you have seen different things. But if I take you on a space shuttle and I put you on top of the earth, supposedly, I'm not saying it's flat, but supposedly, right? And you see down and you see the earth flat, you're going to say like, whoa, it's flat, right? You're going to be convinced by the experience you had. But try to change something like, oh, the sky is not blue, the sun is not yellow, the sun is, I don't know, pink. You're going to say, or no, not even pink. Let's say, brown. No, Tommy, I've seen the sun on sunrises in the afternoon going down, and it's not brown, Tommy. It's yellow, it's orange, but it's not brown, right? So it's not just trying to convince somebody to change their mind. It's really understanding what is the story they're telling themselves, why are they telling their story, and from there work towards changing it. That is the work that I do, guys. Seriously, I've been learning this for many years, and I've been applying it to myself and to others. I need to identify the story. Why is it there? Where does it come from our childhood? And then start bringing the information, not even the affirmation, the information that is going to back up the new belief to stick around. And it might not stick the first time. I might need to keep repeating this, so I start creating a new belief that's going to create a new emotion, that's going to create a new behavior. Everybody needs to do their own research. Yes, exactly, Romana. I don't discard the possibility that it could be flat. I don't discard it. Because of my, I've seen, studied, the sun, how it goes around, the airplanes, when you're in a plane, that you see kind of the horizon fading away. In my experience, I believe that is, a ball, kind of a ellipse, or whatever you call it, right? I believe that, but I don't discard other possibilities, even if it's crazy. As I've said before, guys, I believe that we can fly, and we still haven't been able to figure it out, right? Because the windows are bounded. Yeah, I've heard that before. You don't see it in an airplane. Yeah, there you go. That's what I've heard too. But in my experience, this is what I went up into mountains, and I've still seen kind of the fading away of the horizon, even in a very high mountain. So again, I don't know. In my experience, that's why I said, Roman, in my experience, I believe this. Can it change? Yes, I'm open to changing. As I said many times, guys, I am questioning everything I have learned, everything. Does it mean that I have 100% confirmation or believe that, the earth is round or not? No, I don't have a confirmation yet. I haven't gone to space to see that and be able to confirm it. So I don't know. Okay. So guys, I know we went a little bit, but it's important to embrace the failures, right? To understand what is the message from our past and be able to start changing that. So thank you very much for watching on social media. Again, if you're watching there, hit the like button, share with people, guys. The more people, see this is free. I want to help as many people as I can. That's why I'm doing this in the community. It's free. If you want, of course, to jump on Zoom and be able to get some more time one-on-one with me, ask some questions, things like that. Of course, I have the paid community and it's a very affordable price. I want to help as many people as I can. Okay. So if you want to jump there, let me know. I'll share the information, right? You can type there RSR community and I'll share the information. But for now, this is free. Take advantage of this, share with more people so that more people take advantage of these things. Work on your mindset and you are going to be able to grow your business. It might not go as fast as you would like to, setting the wrong expectations again, but it's going to start moving forward. That's the idea. And it took me a while to build the businesses that I built, right? It took several years to be where I'm at in the different business that I'm at. And this is not an overnight thing, guys, as everybody sells. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this on Facebook, on social media. I'm going to stay here on Zoom with the people that are here. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.